This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, that is the sign we need. We are officially being recorded, and that's good because that's how I can get this information out to everybody. So if you've read your emails, we changed the date so that we're not massacring all the B days with Ice-Mageddon and Omicron leave and whatever else could be in our path. We're doing our best to try to balance the integrity of your classroom. So while I know you'll be posting in Google Classroom for non-testers, I know it's not the same as face-to-face with you. So that day did change from next Tuesday to next Wednesday. So we will be taking the field test on Wednesday, February 16th, and that is an A-day. All right, so let's just start off. You'll know that the content, this is to put out our plan and communicate what's going to go on and what our expectation is, but it doesn't take place of the manual, and it shouldn't be substituted. Right now should not be, okay, well, this says something different in my bucket. If it's different in your bucket, go with what's in your bucket. Okay, so whatever you receive on test day has been updated. It shouldn't be different from what we get here, but just as a disclaimer. Okay, so that first thing, all staff should submit your training verification form before the end of the day, Friday, February 11th. All contents can be found in this folder. That is a link that I will send out. And that link is going to have the content. It will eventually have your staff assignments, the student assignments. It's in the rosters where you'll take roll online. Everything you'll need for that day will be in this folder. So when you post the link about student room assignments, please don't post the folder, just post the link to student room assignments, and I'll remind you of that when those are happening. But begin talking about next Wednesday, that everybody's going to be reassigned to a different room, that there's going to be non-testers and there's going to be testers. You can talk about the field test. I'm going to send communication out with parents. Field test, we don't have an option on. The state selects us, yay, and we are the people, the recipients of this extra administration. So the only students that will be taking this test are students that are currently enrolled in English 2, earning a credit for English 2 this year. Now, that being said, if they are earning English 2 credit this year, but they've already passed the English 2 star, they'll be in a non-testing room. If they are earning English 2 credit and they are a retester, they will be in a non-testing room. I'm trying to make this as fair to them as possible, and we overtest so many kids. So I'm operating within the letter of the jurisdiction, and that's what we're doing. Okay, so links will be shared for staff assignments and student assignments by Friday, February 11th. That'll be in the folder. Room assignments will be utilized until an announcement is made to go to 3A. So this is different. It's a shortened test. And I've reread this manual several times. The plan is this. 1, be flexible. If that is modify and adjust is not the theme of your life as an educator, you probably need to hop on board, because here we are. So the thing is, we have to give a minimum of 2.5 hours for students, but they have to have time to finish. So think about all these things. This test, we do not get any information back on. Students know it is a field test and doesn't count for their English 2 star. And it has different formatted questions because star is changing next year. So with all of that in mind, students will be in testing rooms as if they are taking the English 2 star. A lot of these rooms will probably be the same for English 2 star or similar. But knowing that, students are going to finish this faster. And the length of the test is, what I've been told, max 39 questions. So they are going to finish faster. I don't believe it contains a writing portion because there's a lot of open responses for students to do that. All that being said, around 11:20, 11:30, we'll be getting class counts of people still testing. Once that is a small enough number for me to move those students that are still testing, we will move them to rooms that are not being utilized for class, and we'll move on with our day. So that is how this is going to work. We don't normally English tests, we stay in place all day long, but this is a field test. The components of it are different, so that's what we're going to get to do. Testing rooms, tentatively, L101 to 110, we're not going to use the other half of lower L because those are predominantly English rooms, and I don't want everybody to have to cover and take down and all that when we still have time before the actual STAR test. So we're trying to utilize rooms that are non-English rooms. So what you really have to do is make sure your desks are facing the same way. 30 desks facing the same direction, 5 rows, 6 rows, 5, that works. But if your room and the space that is there needs to be modified where they're just all in rows according to the plan of your room facing the same direction, great. All right, we'll submit electronic attendance. We'll do that on what will be called student rosters. I will share those links. I will share the specified links, but everything will be in the English 2 field test folder. Remember, when we take this attendance online, we highlight here. Highlight here. Don't write here, present, whatever. Please don't write that. Just highlight the yellow, and then we'll only type in absent. It makes it so much easier for our attendance ladies to input attendance for that day. And everyone, non-testing and testing, will take attendance in this manner on that day. And we need it submitted. You can submit before 10, but at 10, you need to go back and make corrections because we do know our kids have a tendency to be late. Teacher and duty assignments, I've already said when those are going to be. If you have a staff position assigned to another campus, 1A or 2A, I need to know if, so when you're doing your verification form, if you have, when it says questions, the very last question on there is kind of open and it's not required. But if you have something you need to tell me about an assignment, I need to know today. So make sure you put that in there and I will do my best to accommodate. Please consider this a blackout day. If you have already told me you would be out, please know you must, if you haven't already told me, you have to have principal approval. And so also in those comments on that verification, let me know if you have already put in for an absence, if you have a school business, something, I need to know whatever is going to change because I need to get our staffing set and our kids in place. The possible duties, testing administrator, a secondary administrator is going to have multiple rooms. That person, a lot of times, and I needed to change the name because a lot of times if I say reliever, then they'll sometimes people forget that your job is to actively go to those rooms and not only relieve, but you are standing in as an administrator. And most of the time, those people, 99% of the time, those people are in and out, in and out, in and out, and on their game. So thank you in advance for whatever role you're going to play. Backup computer distribution, we have some computers. I full well know that there are kids that will not bring a computer that day. You know it, they don't bring it to your class some days. So we have some computers as a backup. That will be for testing students only. And in a little bit, we're going to talk about y'all helping, making sure that computers are where we can actually use them for testing, the ones that are distributed right now. Then also we have to have restroom monitors, non-testing room facilitators, and then people that will have their regular duties. I tried to think of everyone that would be, and that's about those positions. If you have a question, if you have a problem, whatever, just please ask. Please ask. Don't just sit in that place of not knowing. Also, emergencies arise, and on test day or test day eve, please, whatever, when it happens, email me, call me, text me. There's my cell phone number. I think I've given it out so many times, but it's okay. Just let me know. Please let me know. Testing materials, if you are giving the test, pick up an L109, it's the testing office, between 7:45 and 8:15. Please don't make us call you. I mean, and if you're running late, then text someone. We need to be able to get this thing going. Once you leave the testing office, just make sure you go to your assigned place, work through the checklist. The checklist is always the way to go. All right, electronic devices, just a reminder, we're going to take those up from students. This is a regular testing procedure. You know, all electronic devices need to be brought to you, but then they can be returned once your bucket has been returned to the testing office. So once your bucket has been returned to the testing office, give those back. It says return devices when an announcement's made. That's what we do on normal days when we're going to be in there the whole length of time for English. I'm just telling you right now, it is okay once the bucket is in the possession of the testing office to give those back. This is a reminder why we do active monitoring, what it is, and why. Remember, active monitoring can look different. I can be sitting or standing and mess up active monitoring, but I can also be sitting or standing and do it really well. You are responsible to know and observe what is going on in your room. So grading papers, probably out of the question. You can't give full attention to that and the environment that is happening and being cultivated in the room. So we need to manage what we're doing, okay? Also, back to electronic devices, just real quick. Staff, if you're using your electronic device as a timer, it needs to be placed on silent, and at no point should it be used to communicate or otherwise engage. It's a direct violation of active monitoring as well as state, district, and campus directives. That being said, if you are not on remind, please make every effort to be on remind before next week, because that is our fastest and easiest way to communicate to staff if we have to hold because all the buckets aren't quite in and we have to adjust a lunchtime, or if we get a jeans day or whatever. That is our best way to communicate and really get information out there. All right, breaks with testing. This is just a reminder when you stop time, when you don't stop time. The only people that are going to have to really worry about telling students now they need to submit are the people in those extended rooms. And if you're in an extended room, then you have a different position where you're not managing a class. Okay, so you already know who are the candidates for that. Okay, and then those people are the only people that are going to have to deal with lunches, and they're really pretty familiar with it because they do December retesting with me, and they're amazing team of people. On test day, if you have questions that arise, 6520, Miss Hill is your girl. She is the one that keeps us all sane, and she definitely keeps me on task. So everybody needs to thank her because she has a huge burden in that most days. All right, contents of your testing bin, everything in there has a purpose, and there's and every procedure requested to be in place has a purpose as well. So these are the things that are going to be in there. All right. Everything has a purpose. Please do what's requested. Go down to roster, fill in the requested information, and complete the seating chart. The seating chart's just a grid at the bottom. You just put the numbers of the people that are on your roster, their seat number, where they're sitting, make it look like your room. Start stop sheet, you only use this if the student starts the test later or as needs to be escorted to the clinic or is removed by an administrator, or I come in the room and I say, hey, I need to see them. That's the only time you would use that sheet. When their start and stop time is different from what's happening in the room. Accommodations pages, just make sure that everything that's listed has been made possible for the student. It's up to the student to put those in place. All right, let's talk about accessing the test. And the reason everyone needs to attend these trainings, just, you know, as a reminder, people get sick, and even if you're assigned to a non-testing room, you could be pulled because I can put a non-certified person in that place. So I could put a sub in a non-testing room, and we've got to fill the needs of the test. So just that was a little bonus information. All right, students should come with their Chromebook charged and ready. We all know that doesn't mean they will come with their their Chromebook charged and ready. Ugh, tongue twister this morning. But we're sending out those reminders. Please help send out those reminders. But we do have like I said, some backups. At a certain point, when we're out of backups, if a student comes and we do not have a backup computer for this field test, then they will be pushed to a non-testing room. So let me just pause right here. If you have been hanging on to straggling computers, and we know it does exist, I don't know exactly where, but I know it's been a security blanket where some, maybe a handful of teachers have said, when we were giving different tests this year, they said, well, I had one I could let them use. This was not something told to me, but I know it has happened with map testing. Please turn those in. If you need a place to turn them in, bring them to me. Make sure you bring the chargers with them. If you happen to have extra chargers that are just in your room and you just came into them, we need them. Bring them to the testing office. We'll receive it all with open arms. All right, last semester, we took the initiative to get students to update computers through English classes. That helped us so much, in December. We're gonna need you to do this again every day until we test. Please take the time in SFC to help our kids clear the memory. I will put the instructions in the English 2 field test folder. All right, here's an amazing thing with all of our tests this year. We've even already worked it out with the December test. Calculators, Desmos, dictionaries, those tools are embedded in the test. So we don't have 2 computers for algebra, which we're not doing right now, but we don't have to hand out buckets of dictionaries. It's all there and it does work. All right, so when students come in, direct them to their seats, have them restart their computers and wait. They must not sign in. The app we use to access the test is called Secure Test Browser. That has changed. It is not the same as last year. So in your SFC, once you've followed the instructions for updating or clearing the memory on the computers, have them open it up, not sign in, and show you in the app that Secure Test Browser appears. If a student's been assigned an Acer computer, they won't be able to test on that. Those are too far back to be able to sync up and have the app installed on them. So that is where we are with that. Each day, you need to provide the session ID and write it on the board. That's how kids access their STAR test. And that will make sense in just a minute. Okay, checklist. These are examples. Checklist is your testing Bible. Not being sacrilegious, I'm just saying that is what we need to go by. Every point's on here. If you go by it, you're going to be successful at testing. Here is the new manual, and it's only for this test. That's why I attached it. It's not the manual that we did our training in. It's similar, but not the same. Okay, so right here, local education agencies will not receive any data. We talked about this. Field test questions and data will be reviewed to determine whether the questions are appropriate for inclusion in the test bank. In addition, no performance information for students, campuses, districts, or the state will be provided. So we get nothing. Now, that being said, this right here, online practice test, I just need to pause for those of you that are teachers of record in STAR tested areas. They're online practice tests, and there's a STAR redesign here. These are so important for you and for our kids. Know that those are very valuable links, and it doesn't look like I have them active here, so I will do what I can to make sure that I get that information to you. All right, scheduling, they give us a window. We're doing ours next Wednesday. Here's all the information where it says a max of 39 questions. It tells what types of questions and things like that. Right here, we've already talked about students who've already met state requirements. They're not going to participate. And if they're a retester, I'm going to pull them because I feel like they have been over tested and I don't want their brains to get shifted when this isn't going to be their test. Okay, accessibility features and designated supports. Unlike our previous year's test tickets, it does not appear on the ticket. It doesn't appear on the ticket. So you've got to look at that accommodation sheet and see that if it's text to speech, it's asking the student to check their headphones and different things like that. You've got to be on that, because once a kid starts, we can't just go back in and instill those designated supports. They should sync. Let me say that. They should sync. All right, remember, the manual is your responsibility, and it will be here. I'm scrolling through here because I wanted you to see all the information. This is an example of the test ticket. Y'all see this? This is crazy to me, because it has their name and it has their TSDS. It doesn't even have their 9 number. So to verify identity, you're going to need to use their name and their birthday. Okay? Oh, kind of scary. Like off war games is what all that font looks like. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, all right. Here are the things. Here's what you will read word for word, bold print. It shows an example of the ticket again. Know these boxes. You'll read these boxes out loud and make note. Once we get to other boxes, we're going to look at things for RLA. RLA is our field test. Okay? I've marked out some things that don't apply to us. These are the tools you're going to need. And these are information that contained within the test. All right. That is a lot of information. So as soon as this recording is finished and I'm able to upload it and it is able to be accessed, I will send it and all the links that are available out now. If you have questions, concerns, comments, Erin has been manning the chat and Joyce has been manning the chat. But email me your questions, concerns. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to say. Yesterday, a training was rolled out for TELPAT. All classroom teachers have to submit that. That means if you have kids in a room assigned to you at any point, you have to submit that. And then today is a separate verification form. Again, I'm trying to keep this as clear as possible, but I know it can be confusing. I know we have a lot on our plate. Please ask if you have questions. Have a great day. Thanks so much.